Arturo Gonzalez, fresh from his most recent and unique victory. Can you take me back? I think this is the first time children have sued successfully their parents, one of their parents, for killing the other parent in the state of California. Is that right, Arturo?
So I don't know of any other cases comparable, but it is a unique case in that we represented two young children, ages 12 and 11, who sued their father for taking the life of their mother approximately 6 years ago. And the jury today returned the verdict in favor of the children in the amount of $60 million.
I noticed the jury returned for greater than what you asked for.
Right. It was a case that, in my view, was important for a number of reasons, including that there are far too many circumstances where men, for whatever reason, unhappy with their spouses, end up taking their spouse's life. And I told the jury that it was important that they send a message to all men that this is obviously not the appropriate way to handle these situations. And the jury did that. I had asked them to award $10 million to each child for the loss of the comfort and companionship of their mother, and they gave them $25 million each instead. And then I asked for $5 million in punitive damages, which are intended both to punish the wrongdoer and, importantly, to deter others from similar acts, such as what was committed here. And instead of $5 million, the jury gave us 10.
And who was the judge in the case?
Judge Hayashi from the Alameda County Superior Court in the Hayward branch.
Okay, and how did they find you? I mean, I've known about you for years, but how did they find you?
Well, that's an interesting question that perhaps you should ask them, but I think that they found me because they looked for a lawyer who has handled wrongful death cases and have handled some wrongful death cases involving police officer shootings. And they also were trying to find somebody who would represent them for free, because obviously the children and the children's family had no assets. The children are currently living with their maternal grandmother in Russia, and they couldn't afford a lawyer. And our firm has a long history of supporting children in need, and these two children were certainly in need, so we stepped up.
That's good. Did the grandmother attend the trial?
She did not. She stayed in Russia taking care of the children. We decided that it would not be good for the children to be here to observe the trial. And in hindsight, that was absolutely the right call, because although we were hoping that the defendant would show some contrition, he's had 4 years to think about this. The case has been pending for 4 years, a civil case. He's been sitting in prison. We thought he would come in and do the right thing and say, I feel badly about what I did. I shouldn't have done it. I would never do it again, and it was a horrible mistake. Instead, he came in and started talking about how he had saved his children, trying to persuade the jurors that the shooting was justified, telling them that he was finally going to put on the case that he wanted to put on when he was tried criminally before he was found guilty of murder. And he said that Nina was not a good mother, that she was a danger to the children, and so by taking her life, he had actually saved his kids. And sadly, he actually seemed to believe some of what he was saying. I think he's tried for 4 years to persuade himself that there must be some rational explanation for what he's done. He's a very intelligent man. He's a graduate from UC Berkeley. He started college at a time, at an age where most kids start high school. He skipped high school altogether. And he had a software company that was actually doing quite well. And so he's the kind of person who looks to rationalize everything, and he was trying to rationalize his conduct, I assume, and came up with some theories that would attempt to do that. And we didn't think the jury would buy it, and it turns out they did.
Was the trial well attended daily by the mainstream media?
There was a lot of media there. There was electronic media. There was a TV reporter there every day. There were some radio reporters. There were some print media reporters there. So they followed it because in Alameda County, the story was very well known back when Nina disappeared. And she was a wonderful person who disappeared on the night that she dropped off her children with Mr. Reiser. We found they were going through a divorce. She dropped off her children and was never seen again.
Yes, I read Henry Lee's book on this case.
Yeah, what was really unique and interesting then at the criminal trial is that the government chose to prosecute Mr. Reiser for murder, even though they didn't have a body and couldn't literally prove that she was dead. That made it easy for Mr. Reiser and his
Good job. What was the one surprise of the trial?
Well, there were a couple of surprises. The main surprise for me was simply the defense tactic. Had I been advising Mr. Reiser, I would have told him that he should do everything possible to be contrite and apologetic and sincere, and to talk about what a wonderful person Nina was and what a bad thing he did. Instead, he did the opposite. He tried to make her out to be the bad guy and him the hero. In fact, on 3 different occasions, 3 times during the trial, and it was a short trial, just 7 days, 3 times Mr. Reiser compared himself to Moses and talked about how Moses had killed the slave owner in order to protect the slave that was being beaten. And that was his way of suggesting that somehow he, like Moses, took a life to save a life.
Yes.
He didn't buy it.
What was the other surprise?
Well,
other than the verdict.
There were so many, but another surprise at the trial for me was that Mr. Reiser had made a big issue of the fact that there was another man who supposedly posed a threat to the children, and I won't repeat that man's name, just out of respect for his privacy. And it turned out that that man who Mr. Reiser was critical of was Mr. Reiser's good friend when they were young kids, and it was Mr. Reiser who introduced that person to the family. So although I don't have any reason to think that man was a danger to the kids at all, it was Mr. Reiser who brought him into his home. So if anybody was to be criticized for that, it should have been Mr. Reiser. And at trial, Mr. Reiser said that he told Nina, he made it clear that if this man ever did anything to harm the children, she'd have to pay for it. And that was just odd, given that it was Mr. Reiser who brought him into his home.
What was his reaction after the verdict came in?
I didn't look at Mr. Reiser. When the verdict came in, I frankly was just looking down at the verdict form and taking my notes. And actually, there was a little bit of emotion that went through me as the verdict was being read. You can't help but to think of your own mother in a case like this, and you kind of feel some degree of satisfaction knowing that the team has done its job.
That's true. I'm sorry that you couldn't call them immediately, but I'm thankful for your good work. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
The family did ask me to thank the jury in the criminal case, as well as the jury in this case, regardless of the outcome. And they wanted to thank the jury in the criminal case because they believed that had it not been for the verdict, they would never have found Nina. And actually, it turns out at trial, Mr. Reiser admitted that. Mr. Reiser admitted at this civil trial that had he not been convicted of murder, he would never have said anything to authorities about where Nina was. Obviously, he would have stayed with his story that she abandoned the kids somewhere in Russia. And the only reason that he was finally persuaded to lead authorities to Nina's body is because he shaved 10 years off of his punishment. And that would not have happened had it not been for the criminal conviction. So they did want me to thank the jurors in both cases for their good work.
What do you think about the idea of using GPS in family court for restraining order issues in some cases?
Well, unfortunately, this is only the latest of a string of sad cases where husbands have chosen violent means of ending a relationship. I think that certainly we need to think creatively of ways that we can better protect women who are involved in situations that involve domestic abuse or the potential for domestic abuse. It's not an easy issue, given that we can't prejudge situations, we can't punish people, because we think they're going to do something bad, and that's always a concern in this country. But at the same time, I think that there are certain people who give indications of violence and perhaps have a history of violence, and in those circumstances, we just need to be creative and find better ways to protect women. And GPS is certainly something that should be considered.
Yes, I found that
anything that we can do to help women in difficult circumstances ought to be on the table.
Yeah, I've found in circumstances in regard to family court, the question is, what about the civil rights of the person causing the injury? And it seems that no one considers the victim first, not even family court judges, or just it's kind of weird. But yes, the technology is available. It's just a question of using it. Do the kids have any desire to return